Alrighty then, let's get this started. I'm doing that thing again. I don't know what it is, but every time I say that, I always try and put on a bit of an accent, and then I sound like I'm talking like a farmer. You know, stereotyping the farmers who are. But anyway, hello everybody, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it happens to be for you. It's Thursday, it's a morning stream, that means we do source filmmaker stuff. You got a problem about that? Wanna fight about it? But I ain't gonna fight ya. And that of course means... Actually, what does that mean? Where was I going with that? I had the biggest brain fart just now. It's before 10 o'clock. I don't want to get out of bed. But it's after 10 o'clock. I still don't want to get out of bed. Right. Is it actually showing? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, can I go back into performance mode? Thank you. So, how is the two people currently watching doing this morning? How are those two people? I will do the fighting for you. You don't have to do any fighting for me at all. I fight my own wars. You're just... You're backup. You're backup if I can't handle it. Which is like most of the time, so yes. In other words, you can fight for me. Anyway, group call, because we're waiting for stuff. Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Somebody sounds dead.
Uh, how are you? How are you all doing?
I'm a good.
Kinda iffy.
Why
Mm.
is she iffy?
Conversations happening on a specific server.
Specific conversations? Okay, why did he...
What?
Why did Sacrius delete that?
Uh,
I'm pissed off with him. I knew he would fucking do that.
uh, and none of us, anyone else, have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm not sure if this is the specific thing that Shay was referring to.
I mean, it kinda is, but also he mistook me for you. Or mistook you for me or something, I don't know. He basically came to me and was like, why are you trying to bring up stuff and like saying, listen, look at who's actually saying shit. Like, I'm not trying to point fingers, but you know, I'm not gonna be blamed for something that was me that started the thing. But I don't know. I feel like the
Uh,
whole thing is just a mess.
Too damn fucking right. And he's just like, oh, kind of rude to do public call-out posts like that. Fucking hell, Sacrius, you literally did one on your Twitter like the other fucking day.
Hello, chats. I hope you have a nice day today.
Seriously, that's just pissed me off. I knew he would do that. I'll
What's
deal with
this?
that later. This is kind of the reason why I'm making this video.
What is this? Oh yes. Give me.
What? Give what?
I've found mod which makes the potion stuff sexy.
Okay.
Mm.
Anyway, where was I in this?
Red also failed his and got knocked unconscious.
Seriously kicking up a stink again. Yeah, I've been having some beef or some problems with him for a while now, but this is just kind of like almost the final straw.
Oh dear.
And hello everybody that's just joined in chat. I am JFen just constantly saying hi all the time isn't going to make me acknowledge your existence any faster. And Kaifa, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Mm.
Right, where was I?
Words, Sacrius. In other words,
Okay, I need to put. Oh, hey, a lemon. Apart from that, how's everything? I'm okay, he says through gritted teeth.
Mm.
And apologies for souring the mood slightly, but I be an honest person when it comes to things. And I was asked how I was doing.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. But don't worry, we will be discussing this after the stream if you're still awake.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not gonna go back to bed.
Are you lying in bed or are you at your computer at the moment?
I'm at my PC. I am working on Age of Sigmar campaign stuff.
You still reading through the book?
No. At the moment, I am working on writing in stat blocks. Because they don't have an actual book for Roll20, so you have to do all of this stuff manually.
Oh, that's not pleasant.
And there are specific creatures that I want my party to meet.
Mm.
Just trying to draw a robot Hobkin? Really, Lazarus? Hang on, Lazarus, you're on our Discord server, aren't you? If you are, could you post the finished product in like the art and picture section? Because I want to see that. And hello, Russian Dulg. And I am reading that correct, and I did pronounce that correctly because he has spelt it D-A-W-G, so Dulg.
That do sound interesting. I would love to see as well.
Sorry, mate, don't have it. It's free. It's free. You can get it.
It's free.
Oh, here, Gracky.
Zacharias had tried to nerf the Mind Flare by forcing some stupid item onto us. Yes, I know many of you are probably going.
Ooh, wait. Cracky, are you gonna be going to bed after the stream, or are you gonna be awake?
Yes.
This is important information.
Yes. I find them. Zacharias had tried to nerf the Mind Flare by forcing some stupid item onto us. Yes.
Okay then. I'll see if I can get you later on then.
Yes, I know many.
Oh wait, that's
Zacharias had tried to nerf the Mind Flare.
fishes.
Right, now where did I put the heavy?
By forcing some stupid item onto us. Yes. Stupid onto us.
I do a test roll for initiative and I rolled double sixes.
What is that? Oh, on Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. With initiative, you have three options. You can either go with just using your base initiative as the initiative, but that becomes very cluttered really fast. You can then use either 1d6 or 2d6s and add your initiative bonus. We went with 2d6s because fun.
Because bigger numbers means bigger yeehaw?
It also means that there's a bigger chance of diversity when it comes to what everyone rolls and what the enemies roll.
At this point in time, you might as well just say, why not just make it a d20? Now I understand why D&D uses it, but still. Age of Sigmar was just like, no, we only use d6s around here.
I mean, hey, they find a way to make it work.
True.
Besides, rolling additional d6s is part of the fun.
I also split
Yeah.
that at the wrong
Don't you
point.
understand why orc players love playing orcs?
Oh, because of the lower initiative scores.
No, because they bring buckets of dice with them whenever they're playing.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I had a group of, like, I think it was 12 sluggers during, I think it was 4th edition. I walked up to a group and it was just like, right, they've all charged, they're all armed with sluggers and choppers, so that's for a grand total of 36 attacks, which was absolutely glorious.
I mean, the thing is, if I had more demonettes, I could make my blobs even bigger. But like, here's the thing. So like, the thing about Demons of Slanesh in tabletop is that if you have 20 or more models in a unit, right? Sixes explode. Now, what does explode mean? Explode means is that if you roll a 6 on a d6, you get to roll an additional dice. So to hit rolls of 6s explode. Now here's the thing. Demonettes already have that ability, so being 20 stacks.
That sounds broken.
So, if you roll a single 6 on a demonette, you roll 3 additional to wound rolls. How many demonettes can there be in a unit? 30 of them. How many attacks does a single demonette have? 2. 60 attacks that explode on 6s for triple hits.
I'm trying to do math, but I'm terrible at it.
Now, if we lived in a perfect world, right? 60 times 20, or wait, no, it's 60 times 2 is 120 to hit. Now, if all of these hits were 6s by chance, that would be 362 wound rolls.
Who has that many dice? Oh wait, hang on, I'm asking the wrong question here.
Orc
Where are that
players.
many? Where are that many dice? Can I borrow them?
But that's never going to happen. You're never gonna roll fucking 120 126s. It's never happening.
Hmm.
But I am now prepared for when I have to do the mini attacks, because I ordered dice. Yeah.
Then again, going back onto that subject, I think around about that same time, I think my grot mob ended up beating a Space Marine command squad. They didn't break, but it was just the way that the combat was resolved back then. My grots actually beat a Space Marine command squad because I think they scored more hits and dealt more wounds.
No, I remember watching a video of like someone did. It's an old ass video, but like what playing 40k looks like, what it actually what's actually happening, and it's like like you see this guy. I am a space marine, and he goes on like a long ass monologue while chopping down orcs, and then you see him looking at a grot. He charges the grot, misses his attack, and then you have like the person that's playing the game like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I've seen that video. Yeah, can't remember how it goes, but I do remember that he pulls out a bolt pistol, fires at a grot, and it's like 3 ones. What the fuck?
And then like after that, you just see the grot fucking shoot the space marine once, and he just dies.
Yes, because dice are fickle, mistresses.
I love dice. They can punish me more.
Ooh.
When two or more Sangors occupy each other within 15 feet of each other, their melee attacks deal +1 damage. Oh, fun.
That's gonna be fun to work out.
I mean, I'm at max gonna be throwing two of these creatures at my group because, like, they're bulky.
What is that?
Like my
No.
group is already gonna be against odds because, like, it's Warhammer. On top of the fact that they literally chose to play on the hardest fucking difficulty for the tabletop, so that's on them.
Didn't you choose that for them, or did they choose that?
I gave them the options, and they chose that. Like, I told them, you can either be soulbound, do mid in a tavern, that's literally what the difficulty is called, or I forget what the other one actually is called.
You have the rule books. You go look it up.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yes, I know many. Yes, I know.
Grim and Perilous is the name of the setting.
Which is where you get less XP to start with, and
Less XP, you cannot play as a Stormcast Eternal. You can choose one common weapon, and you do not get armor, and you start with 50 drops of Aqua Gyranus, which is basically 50 gold pieces, or in this case, actually copper pieces.
50 gold. I noticed how you went strangely silent at that.
I try not to remember. I do not wish for hatred to fester within my heart.
Says the guy who primarily plays a chaos-based faction.
Listen, just because I like a bit of blood now and then doesn't mean that I hate people, alright? Now here's the question, do I give these guys shields or not? How to hit or more damage? That's the question. What do you think, Noob?
Hmm?
Should I give these guys shields and a sword? The sword just does like 1 damage. However, I could also give them two-handed weapons, which gives them 2 damage instead. Of course, they're a bit easier to hit.
Easier to hit or slightly more armor, but more damage.
Because the thing is, they already have 2 armor, and the way armor works is like it just you just minus your armor versus any damage you take. So if you roll 2 damage against these guys, you deal literally 0 damage to them.
I don't know. I would say I'd leave that to your discretion because I honestly don't know.
Because it's like, I could give them the 2-handed weapons, which would do a lot of damage, or I could give them shields, and my party could actually pick up some shields.
Anyway, what's going on in chat?
Sure, why not? We're giving them shields.
Okay. And hey, a spirit.
Yeah, hey Spirit, how are you doing?
I think he's present in chat, but not in anything else.
He's present in
Yeah.
chat, but he's not present in life.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that's
Vicious Beak.
Chilling in VRC, otherwise I would join you guys in call. Fair enough.
Let's give them bows as well. Why not?
Yes. I know many of you are probably going to say that this was my fault and I should have taken the tinfoil hat. I know you are probably going to say that this was my fault and
Be right back.
this was my fault and I should have. I know many of you are probably going to say that this was my fault and I should have taken the tinfoil hat. Fine. And I should have hat.
hmm.
Okay, see you later then, Jfin.
Okay, bye bye for now.
There we go. Now to look for picture to make token. Oh, order confirmation.
You ordering more dildos again?
No,
Fine.
I already told you I was ordering a ton of dice.
Dice dildos.
No,
You tie them onto a piece of string and then you shove them up your butt.
that's called a fucking butt plug. No, wait, that's called anal beads. Ugh.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna do fucking anal bead dice. That's heretical.
Somebody's probably tried that. You just
Oh,
know.
most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll admit. I'll admit that. But here are my counter arguments. Firstly, why were we fighting a mind flayer in the
Alright,
first place?
Thangor.
I'll admit that. But
Jesus Christ, what's happening to my phone?
Hang on, I just want to go check something. Copyright notification. Oh, not again! Seriously, it's every single bloody time with those videos.
Hmm?
For some strange reason, I always keep getting content ID claims for anything I've done on the Darkest Dungeon.
That's
Because of the
strange.
soundtrack, I always have to keep challenging them saying, I'm not using the music without permission, it appears as part of normal gameplay, stop content ID claiming me. I might as well just go and do this now. It's just a very, very quick, simple thing. Fair use. Continue. Gameplay. Music appears as part of normal gameplay in Darkest. And we sign my name, assuming that nobody can actually see what I'm doing. Good, nobody can see what I'm doing.
See.
I mean, I know this is from a stream that was like back in August of last year, but still.
Still
I would
painless.
rather not have the content ID claims stack up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Especially especially if you have not done anything wrong.
Exactly. So I had a problem
Okay.
where some of the music from that Owlboy video that I made got claimed. And it was just like, but I'm not playing the actual soundtrack. It's part of gameplay. I ended up having to bloody mute that in the end.
Hey, Era,
Yeah.
help me pick an icon.
To what exactly?
To the things that I'm going to use to kill my group of adventurers this Saturday.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, is it Sunday? Yeah, no, it's on Sunday.
Hmm. I would say number two because they look more more like someone who literally want to kill you. The other one look a bit more easy to kill.
Even though it's the same fucking creature, but yes.
I
But
know,
do-
I know, but
do
what
it
it look,
is.
I know, but how they look like.
President of
Number
my for time. I'll admit that. But here are my
You did say to murder your
from here, but
I know.
players, so
Token maker.
mhm.
I'll admit that. But here are my counter arguments. But here are my counter arguments. Firstly, here
God damn it, I always hate it when that happens. Ow! Sorry, people. This is what happens when you
Mhm.
scrub audio in Source Filmmaker.
Mm.
It's painful. I don't know why everybody's talking about fruit and veg in the chat, but okay, you do you.
Mm.
I don't know, someone's talking about gonna get an orange, then Tom's like apples and carrots and lemons and what's going on?
You talk about food you gotta eat.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the whole idea of people eating fruit. I mean, fruit is very, very healthy,
How
and it's something that
Dare you eat fruit? How dare you choose to eat such? I'm too tired to actually come up with a full sentence for that.
I get where
Mm.
you were going with that, but
I mean, you can use the flu in completely different ways, but
that is full on ooh woo, that is.
oh yeah. But I'm not sure how much you want to do
even though I
that.
don't know if about in the cave, we actually found the female in there.
No, not the scryfish.
Fish? What about fish?
Fish.
Fish.
It's a fish stat block. Because originally, one of my players wanted to have 9 piranha fish, each of them with their own name, because he actually chose to name all of them. Was going to be his loyal companion.
Why
And
did I
I
get
was
the feeling that was Xerxes' idea?
No, it wasn't actually. But I was gonna have fun saying the name of each fish as it took damage, because the way a swarm works is whenever a swarm takes damage, it loses members of the swarm.
Mm-hmm.
So every time it took damage, I was gonna say which fish died, just to be an asshole. But then the new book came out, and it added a new type of fish. And we haven't started the campaign yet, so my player was like, "Can I have that fish instead?" And I'm like, "Sure." Said fish looks
Fish?
like
These?
this. That's a medium-sized creature, by the way.
Oh, where are you posting this?
Fishy.
That's a pretty big fish. It kind of looks like a swordfish if it was on steroids and very, very angry.
Yes, that's what it is, because its attack literally destroys armor. I just get to have fun killing that thing instead. Because the thing is, I still don't fully understand the power levels of the monsters in this game. However, that's not a bad thing in this, because Age of Sigmar is meant to be trifling. Like once I've used, I'm gonna use what I
playheaded that.
what I think the game would want me to use, and then see how that goes. There might be a diff or two, but it's all good and fun in this world of Age of Sigmar.
Oh, it's because seriously, why do they fucking put that channels clip thing in the first place if it all it does is just end up being a bloody nuisance?
Besides, um, death is inevitable, and death is used as a motivator for your characters to keep going, and it unlocks new story potential.
Basically, the DM's being a sadist.
I mean, listen, Jorgen's character might have died, but Mantis got more piety with a god. See? Value.
That doesn't make it any better!
Value. Her friend died, and she took care of her friend when he was passing on. Because of that, she gets rewarded with an
Okay.
ability she can only use once a day because she chose to have low wisdom.
Is there wisdom in the minus or something?
No, it's just 13, I think. Why do they? Why does such a simple fucking creature stat block have more fucking skills than the creature that I just made previously?
Mm.
Gestalt sorcery. Through combined worship, a cult of Carrick acolytes can swell their arcane power to new levels. When 9 or more Carrick acolytes are within medium range of each other, they each roll 9d6 for channeling tests. Normally, they only roll 3d6, but they suddenly roll 9d6.
I'm guessing because there's a lot of them.
So the spell Arcane Bolt is the only thing they can cast, and Arcane Bolt casts on a 4, so you just need a single 4. However, every single success you roll is an additional damage.
So basically, it's kind of like Magic Missile in a way. If Magic Missile had zero chance to actually hit. Well, not
Mm,
zero chance to actually hit, but actually had a chance to miss.
yes. However, the more successes they roll, the more damage it's gonna deal. And if they are 9 or more, they get additional dice, which means they get a bigger chance of getting more successes. Which that can be a lot of damage.
Tell me again, Shay, how long did you intend for this whole campaign to last for before everybody started dying?
This campaign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good question. I
Because
guess
at this
I'm
point, it doesn't sound. It sounds like to me they're not going to get very much past session 1.
I'm gonna get back to you later on that.
So you're later planning to kill them from the first second.
It's a grim and dark world. That's the point of it.
There are going to be a lot of character
And people
rerolls,
want to play
methinks.
this stuff
Yes, yes they do.
because
Like one of my favorite parts about this specific game is that it has a lot of so whenever you become mortally wounded, basically when you take too much damage and you can't take any more damage, you become mortally wounded and you become the dying state. So you get to so you can try and like get back up, but you're still like fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some creatures have things that mention if if this attack were to mortally wound, it instead insta kills them.
Oh.
That appears a lot on these stat blocks. And I'm still
Firstly,
debating on if I should add a specific creature because
right.
so basically the short end of the story is they're gonna be running through a cavern that's filled with
Why?
ghouls and bargheists, a lot of fun stuff. After
Why?
that, they get to go to a specific town where they get to have a nice little reprieve, rest a little bit, meet the locals, and then they meet up with a very nice lady that will help them with fighting inside this cave, because inside this cave there's what they're looking for. And inside this cave they find a little cult of Sinch. Now, I'm not sure how big this cult is. There's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put in 8 acolytes. Not 9, 8, so they don't get their extended spellcasting benefit. But I'm debating on if I should put in a Sangor Shaman because they have a lot of fun abilities to use against them, and they serve as like the first boss. And the Sangor Shaman can cast a spell called Boon of Mutation. The Sangor Shaman curses a target with the gift of Sinch mutagenic power. One target within medium range takes or suffers 1 damage. This damage increases by 1 per additional success. If this spell would mortally wound a target, they instead transformed into a Sangor and become an NPC under the GM's control. If this happened to a player character, Doom increases by 1.
So wait, what does Doom do again?
Doom is effectively my way of saying how fucked is the world right now? How terrible is the world right now? But it also increases stats of specific monsters or increases the effects of certain areas. One of the books that I also picked up called Doomed Lands, which expands upon the Doom mechanics. I can give you an example because there's actually some interesting ones. Let me present to you the Blood Wastes, which is let me give you a little bit of a lore stuff.
Place.
Oceans of dry, powdered blood serve as sand in the vast Shaishan deserts known as the Blood Wastes. Once home to the duchies of the Geist, they were conquered by Nagash, leaving little more than lingering scent of iron and copper after countless years. Though its inhabitants were long since devoured or pressed into Nagash's undead armies, the anguish of those who suffered there still sifts through the sands as doom rides the wind. When the doom counter is at 1, the air and the blood sands are utterly still. It feels like a prelude to some nameless catastrophe lurking just out of sight, and any sense to calm it's mixed with ephemeral anxiety simply due to Shaisha's entropic nature. If the doom counter is at 2 or 3, a gentle breeze blows just through the draw and the dull, red dust into the air, obscuring sight. Zones in the desert become lightly obscured. If the doom count is at 4 to 6, now blowing in howling gales, the wind carries streams of amethyst magic as it rushes ever coreward towards the Shaiish and Nadir. Spellcasters add an additional 1d6 to their channeling dice pool to cast amethyst or necromantic spells, and remove 1d6 from their dice pool to cast a spell from any other lore. When doom count is at 7 to 9, the wind gusts it immediately with hurricane force. Gouts of blood sand draw up into its currents. It vexes flesh and dampens vitality. Living creatures within the desert cannot regain toughness or heal wounds by any means unless they find shelter from abrasive sand. Undead creatures are reconstituted by this deathly storm, however, and recover 1d6 toughness at the beginning of their turns. And then if doom count is at 10, or plus 10, a tornado of dried blood and death magic, an avatar of doom itself, forms over the desert sands. Spirits of the ancient dead twists and wail in shrieking outrage, and within the swirling sand flays flesh and soul alike. The zone containing the tornado becomes a deadly hazard, and its damage ignores armor additionally. While creatures are within medium range, they are deafened. Medium range, by the way, is 60 feet.
That's quite close. Or quite
Yes.
far. I don't know. It's
Far.
dangerous.
It's very dangerous. But that's just an example of like what effects Doom can have on an area.
I just actually remembered it's not like a tabletop RPG, but the sort of Arkham game series. I'm pretty sure one of the games has like a Doom counter on it where if you don't succeed at certain events or certain things pop up, the Doom counter increases, and then once it hits like a certain maximum, like the Elder God that you're fighting against comes back.
I mean, there's also the what's that tabletop called? It's one where you're like running around, I think a haunted house or some shit like that.
I think it's probably Mansions of Madness.
Yes, Mansions of Madness. Mansions of Madness is very fun because every time you draw an omen card, you roll dice, and then like the omen counter keeps continuing. And
Oh yeah, they
the
actually
moment
updated Mansions of Madness in a second edition where you actually use an app for it now, so it handles all of that for you.
amazing.
So yeah, because even though I don't actually own the game, I think I found a copy of it on Tabletop Simulator, and I was like playing through the base first mission.
We should play that.
That's going to be
That
very difficult to do because somebody's got to have the app running, and everybody's got to be able to hear it or be able to see it and read it.
piss.
It's the only downside with that. Unless we have like a like a fifth or sixth person who's just like streaming it for us and is just in charge of running it.
That can work. Why does this creature have so many? You're a minion. You're basic fucking chef.
Okay, see you later, Matt Black, and also hi. Sorry I didn't acknowledge your existence beforehand.
Why do you have so many fucking stats? You're fucking chef.
Firstly, why were we fighting a mind flayer in the first place? We were level 4, and that thing had a challenge rating of 7.
What does theology use
Second,
again?
the
Mind.
whole
Of course
encounter
it
was
uses
just
mind.
unbalanced as hell. Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had just been fighting the mind flayer,
skill. Gestalt sorcery. I mean, no. If you're interested in, the difficulty of this, remember that session 0 I did with Sophie?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's this game.
I
You remember
know
how-
it's that game.
If you remember how dreaded she felt during that.
Yeah. And then there was me coming into the call going, Sophie, go through the fucking portal!
Meh.
I'm still questioning why she didn't do that, like, to begin with, but no.
Because apparently she was too busy sitting there taking notes. That sounds more like something Aletha would do. Also, speaking of which, Shay, if the opportunity arises itself at any point during the campaign, would it be possible to introduce the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything rules when it comes to sidekicks or companions?
Oh, definitely.
I just wanted to put that past you because I had an idea on something that if a particular event comes along because of the whole thing where Eletha's like, I showed empathy and somebody took advantage of it, I am never showing any kind of like empathy towards anybody ever again unless I can get something out of it. So
I think
so
I see where you're going.
so
With that.
basically, if some poor person goes up and goes, spare a copper, it's just like, here's 10 silver, you work for me now.
An average Joe. Listen, if you're doing this to a random stranger, expect me to roll like low dice or low stats for them.
I
That's all
don't
I'm
care if I don't care if they start with like a commoner stat block. Because that's honestly what I would be expecting. Because it says in the rules that they have to be a challenge rating of 1/2 or lower.
So
And I'm
you have
pretty sure a
chosen
commoner has
death.
a challenge rating of like 0.
So you have chosen death. Yeah, no, but sure. I remember it existing, so like I know. Let's
why
give
were
all
we
of these
fighting a
boys
mind
great
flayer in
weapons.
the
Why not?
first place?
Cursed glaive.
Unbalanced as hell.
Actually, if I'm going to do the whole unbalanced as hell joke, I might as well try and find some scales. Assuming anybody's actually ever created one.
The thing that excites me the most for this tabletop
But
RPG
would you
is
look
the
at that?
fact
There is.
is the fact that people are going to be able to play as orcs and undead.
Working for Sigma, somehow.
Meh.
But then again, they
So-
could be like freebooter orcs or something. It's just like, oh, I don't care about what I fight, I just want to fight it.
No, so like, cubicle 7. So they made a post about the books. New and upcoming titles. Here we go. Champions of Destruction. Let's players revel in the wah and give them a chance to play as orcs, grots, ogres, and trogoffs. Brutally cunning groups can play as a stomping boot of the great green god Gorkamorka, while cunningly brutal groups may choose to play as soulbound. As long as the heroes fight good, it's all that matters. It's literally what the book says.
So they have to fight things that are technically good then?
No. So they can be brutally cunning and basically just do what orcs do and fight for Gorkamorka, or they can be cunningly brutal and be soulbound as long as there's a good fight they're fighting.
Like I said, I don't care what I'm fighting so long as I can fight it.
Exactly. And then there's,
Yeah.
of course, the Champions of Death book. Gives players the opportunity to play as undead characters such as vampires, ghouls, wraiths, waits, or whites? I never know how to fucking pronounce that.
How's it spelt?
Uh, it's spelled like this.
I think that's white.
Yeah.
I think.
Wraiths and Whites. Characters play as servants of Nagash in his war against Sigma, but the book also presents alternative options for playing as Soulbound, though those foolish enough to spurn the Undying King may face a fate far worse than undeath. So again, the new books gives you options to play as factions that aren't order, but you can still fight for order if you wish.
Well, as I said with the orc thing, it's a pretty just easy excuse of just orcs will fight whatever they can find to fight, and they're okay with that.
I mean, again, orcs are actually one of the creatures you can meet and actually befriend if you somehow manage to do that. Personally, though, I'm just really excited for this year when it comes to all the books that are coming out.
Oops.
Because we've got. So, the next book that's coming out which is supposed to come out here in Q2, is The Bestiary, which has, stat blocks,
Huzzah!
fun, death, and mayhem. And then later in Q2, we are gonna get Steam and Steel, which is a book that increases or like makes the crafting system more like gives you more options with the crafting system. It also introduces vehicular combat and more craftable items.
And steam tanks?
Yes.
Yee.
Then there is Champions of Death. Artifacts of Power contains ancient artifacts and powerful endless spells, which is always a joy to have more endless spells because currently the only endless spell we have in the main core book is the Purple Sun of Shaish, which is the sun that literally turns you into amethysts. After that, we get Champions of Destruction, which is orcs, urks, grots, trogoffs, all that good shit. Then
Yee.
comes Stars and Scales, a PDF supplement exploring the mysterious Seraphon. Includes background information on the Seraphon, new creatures, and a six one-page adventures featuring the Seraphon. I'm still praying that they add Seraphon as a playable race because I know there's a lot of people that wants to play as a Seraphon.
Lizardmen?
Yes,
Why didn't you just say that?
because they're called Seraphon.
They're lizards. They are lizards who are men. They are lizard men. Call a
Seraphon.
spade a fucking spade, why don't you?
Seraphon. Another book is Refugees of the Realm, which is a supplement presenting 9 relatively safe locations across the mortal realms to use in your campaign. Contains items, stat blocks, and adventure hooks to support these new locations. And then lastly, we're getting Loyal Companions, which is a PDF supplement for characters who have or are seeking out loyal companions. Contains expanded information on the companions from the Soulbook core book, as well as adventure hooks and ways you might meet your new ally. And this is all just for this year.
That's a lot.
Firstly, why were we fighting a mind flayer in the first place? We were level. We're level 4, and that thing had a challenge.
Ah, I hate it when my voice peaks like that.
What?
What?
Yeah, okay. You need to.
You okay there, Shay?
What's happening?
What are you doing?
I don't fucking know.
Hmm.
Cursed Blade. 3 dice, 1 damage, and slashing.
Sloppy.
Sloppy. Movement
It's
speed
always
of
fun whenever you
50.
went to that dungeon and everybody's immediate reaction is just sloppy.
Sloppy. I'm just like,
Mhm.
why?
We were level 4, and that thing had a
Pain.
challenge rating of 7. Second,
Oh, right. Ah, that reminds me, I need to go into Final Fantasy for references.
You getting another artworks done?
I won a raffle.
Sounds like a. Oh, you won a riffle.
I won a raffle.
You won a riffle?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Lazarus was referring to, but he said sounds like a duck being strangled.
Probably just one of the sounds that I was making.
Right, now what was that model's name? Because okay, so it's just called scale, right? Okay, let's get rid of those because we don't need them anymore. My noob tip was taking those squeaky noises. Oh, right, okay. Nope, I did not want to go that way. God's sake, when I do this, I want to get it to roll across the floor.
Ah, fuck it. Let's just add the Songcore Shaman. Sangor Sherman. Shaman.
Shaman.
Shaman King.
You know, I keep hearing people talk about that series, but I've never actually watched it myself.
I've so like I used to watch it, but like it wasn't really like it was one of those things where I never knew when it was on, so I just watched it whenever it was on. So I never really had like a full grasp, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this? Why are they here now? What the fuck is going on?" Then I read like the first book, and then I kind of just stopped. Medium. Mortal. Corrupted by chaos. Chosen. Average. Good. Good. One singular metal. 5 wounds. 10 toughness. 2 armor. Shall I give him a disc of siege or not?
I don't know, do you want your party to die?
Maybe.
Well, then that's your discretion. Then I'm
This
not gonna
is
get.
a-
I'm not gonna sit here and make a suggestion and you be like, yeah, well, Noob was the one who suggested that to me.
No, it's more the case of all a disc does is like it lets it fly. Nah, no disc. Initiative +7. Natural awareness +3. Channeling. Mind +2 with 1 focus.
What's going on in chat at the moment? I have no idea what this conversation is about.
Wait, using scales? What the fuck are you using scales for? It's a euphemism.
The whole encounter was just unbalanced as hell.
Always good and bad to Are we talking about furries? Is the conversation about furries? Can we ooh-woo?
Oh, whoa.
Second, the whole encounter was just unbalanced as hell. Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had just been fighting the Mind Flare, or even just the Roper Demon, I would have been okay with that. But not the complete mess we ended up being part of. And if the fight with the Reaper was anything to go by, he clearly didn't learn his lesson for that. Heck, he started a
I'm
new
not sure
campaign
this-
recently and had a group of 5 level
I'm not sure
1s
this
take on
right,
7
right to write
goblins
that in the
and a
chats.
goblin boss on session 1. It wasn't a TPK, but somebody did die. Back on track. Thirdly, if Sacrius wanted to nerf the Mind Blast ability, why didn't he just nerf the
Chat
damage
ask
rather than
you
coming
about
up with the
make
most
your
roundabout way
voice,
possible?
NoobMister.
If it had been like 1d10 plus 2 psychic damage rather than the full 48 plus 4, I would have taken the L
Nope.
and moved on.
Sorry, what was the question? I was going through audio so that I could sort of plan out in my head what I was going to do for the next couple of shots.
Okay, someone in the chat asked you to make your Gilmore voice.
My Gilman voice. You wanted me to do my Gilman voice?
Yeah.
Human bread.
Gilman. Give me Gilman bread.
Sure. I will get you a lot of breads.
Yay, bread
After you're
time.
done, after you're done with your work.
5.
Aw, why can't Gilman have bread now? Cause if Gilman have bread now, he have energy to actually do work.
What are they using as the reflection texture on this?
Hmm.
It's always interesting when you look at stuff like that and you're just like, what kind of texture were they using? It looks like a skybox, unless it's the skybox for this skybox for this map. I don't know why my accent went a bit weird there, but whatever.
Also, can I have friend of mine butt? I want friend of mine butt and boobies.
And bless
Oh.
you, Jesus
Thank
Christ.
Oh shit.
Uh, where is the? Oh wait, there it is. Because I'm going to need to move those socks somehow, but I can't find the points.
Staff of change. Change is good.
Ugh.
Okay, that's not right. Where do I get the feeling that the channels clip thing is not allowing me to move what I want?
Yeah.
I was right.
Decker.
Ow. Loud sneezing noises. Loud robot noises. Sneezing. Achoo. That didn't work. Okay, maybe it's that one. There it is. That's the one I wanted to. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to move just so that I could hide the other sock under the floor. It's rather annoyingly, I couldn't find a single sock model or a model that was just one sock.
Singular sock.
A singular sock, so I had to make do with the Splatoon ones and then just hide the other one. And no, I couldn't minimize the two, hide them by downscaling it because it didn't fully hide it.
Second, the whole encounter was
going
just
to be a
unbalanced
mess.
as hell. Sacrius.
Moment of mutation.
As hell.
Oh yeah. So, Noob, you've got no idea about most of the new stuff in Age of Sigmar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a race called the Iden of Deepkin. They're
Squids like to follow
basically sea elves with shattered souls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own lore of magic. One of the spells in their lore of magic allows them to literally turn into a tidal wave. And then you stay as a tidal wave and can't be targeted by attacks or spells for a turn.
And then you just graciously wash over everyone and drown them horribly by ripping out their lungs.
I mean, there's a spell that basically fills up someone's lungs with water.
Yeah, I was about to say this is Age of Sigmar, so it's going to brutally murder them in the cruelest way possible.
A cool spell that they actually added with this book to the Idonef is called Blood in the Waters.
You attract sharks.
No. Conducting a brutal ritual over the course of at least a minute, you drown an intelligent creature in a body of water. Once you feed the soul to the Ether Sea, you unerringly know the location of all other sentient creatures within a mile or in the same body of water for the next hour. And the range of this spell increases but per success per 1 mile. You basically know the location of every sentient creature within a mile. Why? Because why not?
That spell seems a little bit on the circumstantial side, but at the same time, I can see how it could be useful. Minus the whole killing things.
Alternatively, you can spill an intelligent creature's still warm blood into the water without necessarily killing it. If you do so, you gain the same awareness, but only as a snapshot at the moment. The awareness does not persist, and the spell has a duration of instant. In either case, the detection range increases by 1 mile per additional success.
Yeah.
And of course, for every single soul that you murder, it becomes easier to cast the spell.
For every single spell that you heard a murder.
Heard a murder.
I think I might need to make that actually smaller, so hold on. Hey viewers, tired of loud noses. Loud noses? Well, if you're sneezing, then yes, it would be a loud nose.
Yes, it would.
Sacrius like through
Sangor.
Hang on.
the
I got that back to front.
Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had just been fighting the Mind Flare, or even just the Roper Demon, I would have been okay with that. But not the
One is all you need. Wait, bullets? Are you smart enough to out... Have you yet to meet one who can outsmart a bullet?
Bullet.
Oh no.
And besides, if your heavy weapons guy, 1,000,000 bullets is good. How much that would cost, I do not know.
Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to encounters. If we had just been fighting the Mind Flare, or even just the Roper Demon, I would have been okay with that. But not the complete mess we ended up being part of. And if the fight with the Reaper was anything to go by, he clearly didn't learn his lesson for that. Heck, he's
1,000,000 costed 375 million plus. Yes, that... It costs $400,000 to fire this weapon for 12 seconds. Wait. Hang on. 10,000 rounds per minute. So it costs 400,000 to fire it for 12 seconds. And 10,000 is... How many? So it would cost 2 million to fire it for a whole minute.
That's expensive. That's a lot of dice I could buy with that money.
Hang on, I'm actually trying to work out the math here. If you
Oh
had
God.
if you had 1,000,000 bullets that cost the same as the heavy's gun, or how much the heavy fires it for, then that means for an entire minute would be 2 million, and that would be 60,000. No, 10,000 rounds per minute, so that would be 10,000. 10,000 rounds per minute, 400,000 for 12 seconds. Wait, hang on, the math doesn't quite add up on that. I feel like I'm either missing something or Valve miscalculated. 200. Okay, so it's $200, 10,000 rounds per minute. Oh no, wait, hang on. I'm not adding on enough zeros. I'm only adding on 1 0. I'm only multiplying that by 10, not 10,000. So that would be 2 million. Then, okay, so that would be 2 million. So 10,000 rounds. So I hate math.
F sucks. Yeah.
Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making.
Thank you, auto-save. And I also better save. How much have I actually done on this? Not that much. I haven't even done a
And
full
yes,
minute.
I did fail my intelligence check and took nearly 2/3 of my health in psychic damage. Red also failed his and got knocked unconscious. In other words, Sacrius had tried to nerf the Mind Flare by forcing some stupid item onto us. Yes, I know many of you are probably going to say that this was my fault and I should have taken the tinfoil hat. Fine, I'll admit that. But here are my counter-arguments. Firstly, why were we fighting a mind flayer in the first place? We were level 4, and that thing had a challenge rating of 7. Second, the whole encounter was just unbalanced as hell. Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had
Right. Oh, excuse me.
Oh no.
Oh no. What's with the oh no?
Oh no, oh well. What's this?
I don't know. Error just said oh no, and I'm kind of like, what's with the oh no? Is everything okay?
There's was a video about someone who literally breaking a game down
Cause
in a way that is. I do not think the people who make the game think have think this through. As someone will literally deal with like that.
You will have to link me said video, because now I am curious.
Okay. Have fun with this.
That's one hell of a title.
But it's literally what he. It's literally what he is doing. And the worst part, there is not a long time ago he uploaded this video, which means there is still possible to do the same stuff.
if
I yeah.
everything a boom.
Fuck. I wonder how many hours a day, weeks he actually used on that one video. But he literally did all that legit, with no cheat, all that stuff. Fuck.
Putting an rule of cool only really works when the people are skill and power. Putting an underleveled party against an enemy at a higher them isn't cool. It's just an excuse to attempt to murder the lower level party. I wouldn't really say it was an excuse. It was just the fact that Sacrius just didn't know what he was doing. He just thought, oh, this looks like a cool enemy. Let's put that in. I would say it was probably more done out of pure ignorance than actual any malicious intent.
I mean, honestly, that happens a lot when people do their first campaign sessions. Like, you take all the cool things and put them in because they look cool. Then it's like, you didn't do any playtesting.
Yeah, but the annoying thing was Sacrius kept doing that. He didn't learn at all.
Oh yeah, no. Like, I'm not saying he didn't, stop doing that. No, so Lazarus. So like, early on, it's forgivable because it's a common mistake. Later on, however, yes.
Like the whole thing with the fucking Death Knight. That was like, excuse me?
The part that I still to this day kind of like hated was remember when we had to fight the Death Tyrant, the um the undead beholder.
Oh yeah, that.
So a Death Tyrant, for those unknown, is a challenge rating. Where is it?
Oh yeah, it's like quite high. It's like an 18 to 20, isn't it?
It's challenge rating 14. A Death Tyrant is challenge rating 14. We were accompanied by a Vampire Knight, which, by the way, was the basic gods that were used um, as the guardsmen of like the fucking place we were in, right?
Yeah.
They're challenge rating 15.
So technically speaking, in a fight between just those two, the Vampire Knight would have won. I mean, just going on basic challenge rating levels and just general damage output.
Which basically the fight was mostly just the vampire warrior fighting him. Now here's the thing. I can understand like the party befriending a powerful ally to make them join in, but when most of the creatures that were defending the place were vampire warriors, and one of the leaders is a creature of a lower challenge rating, is the leader, something's fucked there.
Hmm. And the fact that the whole encounter that we had outside the tower was effectively just a rip-off of the Wrath Gate from Wrath of the Lich King.
I just felt like it was one of those moments where it's like this kid had a shit ton of toys and was just bashing them against each other, and just like every time something fell, he found a bigger toy to bash it against the other ones.
And then there was that whole thing with the what was it, the gear spell that you tried to cast on somebody, and then Zacharias just had, oh, another character comes along and their raven absorbs the magic. What are you trying to do? Play D&D? Why are you cock blocking me? I still remember that. It was just like, oh, that is such a smart move. But then Zacharias was just like, oh no, that goes against my entire script. I have to stop them from doing that.
Hmm.
It's not like it really mattered anyway. That never came back up.
Nope, but I remember.
I also kind of feel like Zacharias got a little bit annoyed once we got to sort of like the last city before, or last town, or whatever it was before we actually went to the Reaper's Tower. And I kind of unraveled Peter Balemore's plot within like a few minutes because it was so fucking obvious.
Hmm.
I would talk more on this, but this involves me bringing up what's in that other Discord group at the moment, but I will leave that until after the stream.
That day is gonna be hilarious.
Which one?
The day I throw a Vermin Lord Deceiver at the party.
But not yet. Unless you're
Oh
like
no,
unless you're being just very, very sadistic.
no, that's not even very sadistic. That's just plain like a dick move, because like they're never gonna survive against it.
What is it, like the Tarrasque level of?
It's a greater demon of the Skaven kind.
Ah, right.
Like, to put it simply, if they were to fight it, they'd be hitting it on sixes and it'd be hitting them on twos.
Ouch!
On top of the fact that their average dice rolls are like 5 dice when they roll to try and attack, which again, every success is 1 additional damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
This thing rolls 11 dice with all of its attacks. On top of the fact that it has more health than they have collectively, both in wounds and in toughness, and its armor is 1 plus the doom count.
Ah! And given that they're probably going to be quite far into the campaign at that point, the Doom count's probably going to at least be somewhere around the 4 or 5s, if they
Maybe
were
even
lucky.
maybe even 7. That's also one of the most interesting fucking new downtime actions that they've added to the game. It's called Desperate Measures. The only time you can use it is if the Doom count is 7 or higher. As hope crumbles and your enemies rise ascendant, you fail you you fall back to your last resort. You perform forbidden rituals to augment your arcane might, knowing such raw power will eventually cause you to burn out. Or you pick up a cursed weapon you swore never to touch again. All your life has led to this moment, and you hold nothing back in preparing for the battles to come. You immediately gain 20 EXP, however, you can no longer gain XP again.
That is a desperate measure.
Mm.
That's why it's such an interesting downtime action.
Oops. But 20 experience in that game is actually pretty good, isn't it?
It is. 20 experience is what the players had when they started making their characters. Like, in the specific difficulty we're playing, you start with 20 XP when you make your character. Foretell, the realms themselves can sense danger coming, manifesting portents like a body rejecting disease. You can read these portents by watching the
Sound like
movements of
someone
celestial
someone here.
bodies,
Put it back.
consulting augurs versed in the secrets of blood and bone, or inadvertently partaking in the dream spores of loon-capped mushrooms.
So basically, do what the goblins do.
It's basically like you can try and see the future by looking at the stars,
I
or
can see the
you can take,
future.
or you can take mushrooms.
So basically, you try and hallucinate your way to the future. I think I saw the future. There are pink elephants involved. Lots and lots of pink elephants. Like, you were a pink elephant. Even I was a pink elephant. There were fucking elephants everywhere.
Hmm.
Dumb. Why does my phone keep beeping?
Beep, beep.
I can't really go and get it at the moment because I left it on my bedside table because I use it as my alarm clock. Yes, I know I have an actual alarm clock, but it's like this one has a specific tune on it that I like using as an alarm. And to be perfectly honest, it actually wakes me up more than the other alarm does.
Cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had just been fighting the Mind Flayer, or even just the Roper Demon, I would have been okay with that. But not the complete mess we ended up being part of. And if the fight with the Reaper was anything to go by, he clearly didn't learn his lesson for that. Heck, he started a new campaign recently and had a group of 5 level 1s take on 7 goblins and a goblin boss. On session 1. It wasn't a TPK, but somebody did die. Back on track. Thirdly, if Sacrius wanted to nerf the Mind Blast ability, why didn't he just nerf the damage rather than coming up with the most roundabout way possible? If it had been like 1d10 plus 2...
Yeah, that's actually another thing I sort of need your opinion on, Shay, with the whole Mind Flayer thing.
Hmm?
rather than doing the whole things with, oh, you have to equip these tinfoil hats to avoid the Mind Blast ability, why didn't Zacharias just nerf the damage? Because I proposed, instead of it being 48 plus 4, which is an average of like 22 damage, instead was something like 1d10 plus 2, which I think is like an average of 8, which I think would have been more manageable. So why didn't Zacharias just do that?
Didn't think about it's again. I'll like the future cannot excuse what he's done, but like beginnings, I always take with a grain of salt.
I don't know. I still look back on that and just go, he could have easily have just tweaked numbers. Because, I mean, he'd been building his own stat blocks before then, so he obviously knew about damages and things. But even then, they were still imbalanced. Like, we were getting hit by rocket barrage attacks that were a little bit too overpowered. Like an annoyed Reaper or Reaper playing cards when it's mentioned. Ugh. 5 minutes left. Let's just review what we've done so far. I really haven't progressed that much on it. I mean, I feel like I've done a lot, but in terms of actual time, I haven't even been able to do a full extra minute on this yet.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and the day is ruined.
I'm just more disappointed in myself. I just thought I'd done. It just felt like I'd done more.
And yes, I did fail my intelligence check and took nearly 2/3 of my health in psychic damage. Red also failed his and got knocked unconscious. In other words, Zacharias had tried to nerf the Mind Flare
Oh,
by
right, that's
forcing
another
some
step. Like I can
stupid
add fucking abhorrent ghoul king or queen.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Right, am I gonna head out? Okay, see you later, dog.
item onto
I mean,
us.
they could also just
Yes,
add.
I know many of you are probably
Terrorgeist
going to
as
say that
well.
this was
That's
my
a fun
fault
one.
and I should have taken the tinfoil hat. Fine, I'll admit that.
Literal
But
bad
here are my
demons
counter arguments.
or undead bad demon creatures.
And you're gonna make your group fight them, aren't you?
I'll put in a Actually, nah. I'll put in a single Terrorgeist. One singular Terrorgeist.
That should make them. That's enough to make them wet their pants. Not completely soil themselves, but wet their pants.
I mean, it's like it's better than if I added a Ghoul King.
Firstly, why were we fighting a Mind Flayer in the first place? We were level 4,
Oh,
and that
actually,
thing
that's
had a
another cool
challenge
thing.
rating of
So,
7. Second, the whole encounter.
Alariel, the goddess of the realm of life, has a miracle or prayer, which is basically cleanse food and water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about this one is the fact that you can actually use it if you're fighting something like chaos or undead to deal damage with it. Because of
You are,
your
you are
purifying
fighting a
touch.
chaotic hot dog.
No, it's because the purifying touch.
It's just that you mentioned the whole purify food and water. I was just like, you are fighting chaotic food. Think of a chaotic food. Hot dogs. You are fighting a chaotic hot dog.
Chaotic hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Sorry, that's just where my mind went with that.
Uh-huh.
We are fighting a Slanesh carrot! A carrot of Slanesh!
Wait, so they're like carrots that are trying to seduce you?
Yes!
What?
Seduction carrots!
Why? Why? Why?
And a
Why?
potato of Nurgle! It's a rotten
Why?
potato!
Why? No,
You were
it
the
should have
one
been
who mentioned this! I'm
it
just sort of...
it should have been a tomato, not a potato. Because
What?
rotten tomatoes.
No! Potatoes.
Tomatoes.
Because evil Lalafell. Chaotic Lalafell. I'm literally coming up with that excuse on the spot. That was not my original train of thought.
Uh-huh.
Because I immediately just thought, I just thought of one thing, and for some strange reason, Cuphead popped into my mind. I was just thinking of the first boss that you do, which is the one where you're fighting the vegetables, and that potato turns out was just like potato of Nurgle, and a radish of corn,
Radish of corn.
a bloodthirsty radish, eh?
No, it's a corn cob.
Milk. Well, you know what they say, milk for the cornflakes. I think
Pain and suffering.
Carrot of Slanesh. I am going to use that now.
Was just unbalanced as hell. Sacrius likes to follow the rule of cool when it comes to making encounters. If we had just been fighting
There's
the Mind
also a lot of
Flare,
like
or
new
even just the
miracles that
Roper
are like
Demon,
unflavored. They're amazing, like spring follows winter. Alariel teaches her devotees how to turn their suffering into succor for others. When you suffer damage, you can immediately, as a free action, spend a medal to make their injury pulse with vibrant green life energy, restoring toughness to allies in your zone, excluding yourself. The toughness restored to each ally is equal to your soul. Basically, if you take damage, you can heal anyone within 15 feet of you. Like
Nice.
that's a flavored spell. It's flavored healing retribution, and I love that.
Ugh.
Like there are so many spells and things that have been added to this game that are just so flavorful. It's beautiful.
I stopped a little bit ago, but the time was 4 hours after. Okay, not sure we don't quite follow what that means, but okay, and Raoul as well. But you're a little bit late because I'm literally just finishing. Because I've been doing this for 2 hours and my brain has just gone bleh. And now I just have Carrot of Slanesh stuck in my head, and
Sounds like you problem.
yeah. I still blame you because you were the one who brought up purifying food and chaos, and I was just like, Carrot of Slanesh.
So it sounds like you problem.
But anyway, folks, that is the end of the stream for today, and of course, streams for this week. We will be back on Monday with Final Fantasy XIV and VR chat, and then it switches around the following day. And who knows? Oh yeah, by the way, Arrow, you missed Borderlands 2 last night. We didn't continue on without you, but you weren't around, so we kind of had to do Deep Rock Galactic instead.
I think Air's muted.
Either that or he's gone AFK. Oh, he's muted. Why are you muted? Arrow, you're muted.
How
But
dare you just like drop that on somebody? I can't believe you do this.
I didn't know he was muted. I'm just saying that he wasn't there last night and we couldn't do the Birdabers.
Oh, what does this do? It's called Death Streak.
You'll have to tell me later. Anyway, folks, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Say goodbye, Shay.
Come.
And Errol would say goodbye, but he's muted. So, bye, folks.